It's such a damaging piece of information that it's hard to conceive. Trying to explain to someone who's not in the police world that when an officer becomes physically injured or psychologically injured, very often their departments will just throw them away. They're no longer useful to them and they will toss them aside. Most people can't fathom that. Wait a minute, what do you mean a police officer can be shot in the line of duty and then their department just fires them? That doesn't happen. Well, it does happen. My name is Randy Sutton. I'm a retired police lieutenant from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and the founder of the Wounded Blue, the National Assistance and Support Organization for injured and disabled law enforcement officers. The reason that I left policing, it was not by choice. I didn't intend to retire when I did, but I suffered a stroke in my patrol vehicle right on the Las Vegas Strip. It was career ending for me, and it was the scariest thing that I ever went through. But then something happened that I never expected. My own department turned its back on me and refused to pay my medical bills. Now, they knew that they were legally obligated to, they just didn't do it. It was devastating for me. Here's the organization that I served for 24 years, that I literally almost gave my life for on more than one occasion. And now that I needed them, they were nowhere to be found. That began a year-long fight. Police officers from around the country started reaching out to me, not because I could help them, but they were desperate to give their story. I was shot in the line of duty. I never even got a visit from my chief. They're not paying my medical bills. Not one, not two, but 5 and 10 and 20. Everybody said the same thing. I feel forgotten. I feel alone. I feel abandoned. I thought I was the Lone Ranger. I didn't realize this was a national issue. I looked for resources for these men and women and discovered that there was no national resource to help after they had been injured either physically or emotionally and psychologically. From that seed came the birth of the Wounded Blue. I created the Wounded Blue out of a sense of need, out of a sense of urgency, if you will. The mission statement of the Wounded Blue is simple: to improve the lives of injured and disabled officers through support, education, assistance, and legislation. Never forgotten, never alone. That is our motto for the Wounded Blue. We probably deal with psychological and emotional injuries, maybe even more than the physical injuries. Understanding and learning about post-traumatic stress injury and how it affects law enforcement officers all over this country became a critical part of our mission, and finding ways to have access for treatments. Once I discovered Stella, or SGB, then that became, wait a minute, this might be a game changer for the people that we deal with. So we have fully embraced SGB as a treatment and Stella as a partner in helping our officers. We have saved lives. I've been told by officers, Randy, if it weren't for you and your organization, I wouldn't be alive today. The suicide rate in law enforcement is abysmal. It's a failure of leadership. It's a failure of recognition. Creating awareness is a huge challenge, but it's a fight that has to be fought. We're constantly in search of a methodology to give them relief, to move the needle, if you will, on this terrible suicide rate that we have. The number of officers who took their own lives is so startling and so hurtful to me personally and professionally, that knowing that my organization could play a role in alleviating that pain with so many of these officers, I got to tell you, that's a hell of a good feeling. When I discovered SGB, I was really, really encouraged. This treatment has been around for a significant amount of time, but nobody knew about it. Nobody knew the benefits of this treatment. You could be in a business giving away gold bars, and if nobody knows about it, you're going to be sitting on a stack of gold bars. Well, that's what SGB is. SGB is a gold bar for those who are suffering from post-traumatic stress injury. I need to have a legitimate, reliable methodology of getting our people treated, and treated professionally, treated with compassion and empathy, And that's what Stella is all about. Post-traumatic stress injury is very real and can be as real as a bullet. Creating the ability for more and more patients to receive this treatment is critical. A lot of the evolution of policing, especially with all the negativity now, is really exacerbating the mental health issues. It's not hard to illustrate the struggles that these men and women are going through. You only have to turn on the news to see the physical attacks, political attacks, sociological attacks. I can't tell you the number of officers who have healed physically, but haven't healed mentally and emotionally because of the way they were treated by their own departments or by the cities that they serve. We have a long, long way to go as far as a profession to accept it, to understand it, and to deal with it in a way that we can heal. It is an injury. And just like a physical injury, an emotional or psychological injury can be healed, can be dealt with, and you can come out on the other side and be okay. Myself and Jenny Hill, the director of peer support for my organization, who has struggled with PTSI for years, flew to Chicago. I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't nervous about doing this. I was nervous about doing this. I hate needles. I hate needles. And that's part of the treatment. You get a needle or two into your neck. I got a fear factor here, right? Dr. Lipov and the people up in Chicago with the office up there, they really set our minds at ease. It's very professional. It's in a clinical operating room. You get a real feeling of these people know what they're doing. Jenny noticed differences immediately. My anxiety level diminished demonstrably. The same thing with Jenny. She got some really, really good benefit from this. Bottom line is I can now tell people, listen, I experienced it. We have sent a number of patients to Stella, people who are struggling severe symptoms, suicidal ideations. It's worked. It's really, really worked. There hasn't been one that has said, what a waste of time. Everybody has said, you know what? Thank you for sending. Thank you for referring because it's changed my life. There's nothing you have to lose by doing this treatment. Nothing except your anxiety and your post-traumatic stress. It's imperative that Stella play a role and a national role in giving SGB treatments to our first responders. They have the expertise, the knowledge, the system set up, and they make it as affordable as humanly possible. I know from those that I've talked to after they receive this treatment, it's been a miracle for some of these men and women. If you're struggling as a police officer or you love a police officer who is struggling, reach out to us. We are really, really good at what we do, and we can make it very, very easy to link up with a caring peer support team member. This is heartbreaking stuff. We could help so many other people.